I feel like sometimes we have to have those near-death experiences to really propel our lives, you know? Yeah. And like, I'm just grateful that I still had life and I was able to really like it switched everything up for me for the better. Like, I promise you. So it's one of those things where it happened, but it was like, had it not happened, I would have still been in San Francisco missing out on so many blessings that I got by coming back home.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the More Rounds podcast. I'm Kim Lewis, CEO and co-founder of CurlMix, and today we have Vicki Lamar with us. This young lady has raised so much money for scholarships, and it's a crazy number, but I'm gonna let her tell it. So Vicki, tell me about yourself. What you do? How'd you get started? Let us know. Before we get started, we have to cheers. All right. Okay. So I know we were supposed to get coffee, so this is gonna be our coffee date. Yeah, okay. So tell me about yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Vicki Lamar. I'm the youngest of 4 girls, raised by a single parent household. I always have to start back there because that really can get you a good understanding on who I am and why I did what I did. And so growing up in a single parent household, low income area, I'm born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia. My grandmother and mother, they stressed the importance of higher education, but I knew that I would need to fund it myself, okay? It's no way she was gonna allow 4 people and be able to pay for 4 people's higher education. But again, I knew that that was the goal. That was something that was very, very clear in my household. So growing up, because I haven't seen my father since I was 6, I felt like my mom really thought let me put these kids in everything. So we was in everything free. We was in Breakthrough Atlanta. I interned for Planned Parenthood. I was doing church volunteer, just everything free we was in. And she didn't make us decide that we needed to do the same activities just because one sister wanted to do that, one sister wanted to do vocals. We could do whatever we wanted to do that was based on our own passions. And so going up to high school, I was such a well-rounded individual. I was a part of everything. I was able to kind of dip my toe into different organizations and extracurricular activities. And so senior year of high school, that's where it really mattered because now I'm applying to colleges. I want to go to school debt-free. And really what they want to see is 1, your ability to storytell, but 2, your ability to be a holistic student. And so graduating from high school, I had self-accumulated over $3 million in scholarships and offers for my own higher education.
Oh my gosh.
And so I know it's a lot.
Wait, did y'all cry when you were getting the letters and stuff?
No,
oh my God, I got $1 million.
I didn't cry. It didn't feel like that because, I started off with rejection. So I was rejected probably over 40 times before I got my first acceptance. Yeah.
Wait a minute, you applied for more than 40 scholarships?
Oh yeah, I applied to a lot.
Girl, that was a second job.
It is a job. It is a job. It's literally a job because it's you have to understand that you're going to get rejected. So I already knew I was going to get rejected. So I just got to keep going. I got to keep fine tuning my story. And so
how did you get this? What is this 3 million, right? Is it all from one school? Did you get 3 million? Was it a Gates Millennium type of thing? Was it I got 10K here?
Yeah.
What was the breakout of this 3 million that you amassed for your scholarships when you were applying to schools and things like that?
Yeah, you mentioned Gates. My sister's a Gates scholar. So
wow.
I have to say that first. Her going to school debt-free, she accumulated $1.5 million in scholarships. So in my head, I was like, I need to do what she did times 2. So I can make sure I go to college debt-free. And so what that looks like
baby
is...
sis.
Yes. So what that looks like is I received multiple full ride offers and enough scholarships to give my own self full rides from schools like UC Berkeley, Emory, Georgia Tech, George Washington, University of San Francisco, a lot of full rides. And then I was able to profit.
A lot of full rides. Okay.
Yes. And then I was able to profit around $60,000 my first year of college off of these scholarships.
Wait. What does a profit on a scholarship mean?
Yeah, so a profit on a scholarship is, because I already received full rides, my first university I went to was the University of San Francisco. They already gave me a full ride just off of who I was once I applied to the school. So that means all these additional scholarships like Jackie Robinson Foundation, Greenhouse Scholars, Judge Willie Lovett Foundation, I was able to profit because my tuition was already paid for. So that's how we started to profit from scholarships. It's okay, now you have that winning story. If you win one scholarship, now you just need to copy and paste because obviously somebody liked it. And so that's how, students are able to profit from scholarships.
That's dope. That's so dope.
Yeah.
Not that you had a whole salary while you was in school. Talk about I'm profiting $60K on my scholarships. Okay. So you basically come up with your brand story. That's how you get a winning scholarship, right?
Yeah, you come up with those stories. Like they ask you, like it's like 5 main essays that they're going to ask you.
Wait, let me ask you. So how does one go and get a scholarship? So you said there's 5 main essays or 5 main questions. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so those 5 main questions, they want a challenge story, a greatest accomplishment story, community service story, a leadership story, why do you deserve this scholarship story. If you can go ahead and knock out 500-word average essays for those 5, that's literally the bread and butter of the entire process. And so scholarships, you know, you can follow Instagram people who are posting scholarships every day, TikTok, go to Google. You want to search very specifically like scholarships for African American women studying psychology. That's a Google search, right? Scholarships for Black men in engineering. That's a Google search. But the part that a lot of people don't do is now that you have that Google search, Google has come up with thousands of pages with links. Now you need to go through each link and decide which scholarships you're eligible for and then save that on a spreadsheet.
So what's the total amount that you've accumulated in scholarship money for you and your clients? Because you do this for other people too, right?
Yeah. So we've accumulated a bit over $25 million for our students and clients.
Free money.
Yes,
y'all.
free money.
Free money. Look.
Don't got to pay back.
That's crazy. Okay. Okay, I have more questions. Like I have to announce that I have questions. My friends nickname me questions because I just.
That's good. You're intuitive.
I got questions. And low key, you say you profited $60K. Why did I use my scholarship money to pay for my wedding? But that's another story.
Oh wow, that's
good. Don't tell them I did that. Anyway, okay, so you get the $3 million. You pick one of the 4 rides. Where'd you end up going?
So I actually went to 3 schools in 4 years, but my first school was the University of San Francisco.
Wait, why'd you go to 3 schools in 4 years?
So University of San Francisco, I was actually robbed at gunpoint in I know, craziest thing. I was robbed at gunpoint in San Francisco.
If you walk through the Tenderloin, you know, you know why you got. I mean, no, you know what I'm saying.
But it can happen anywhere, you know. And it's weird to say that I'm grateful that happened because I was able to come home and be a caretaker for my grandma with her last year of life. So all of these things really happened for a reason. But yeah, I started off at University of San Francisco for 2 years. I was that girl out there. Like I had partnered with the school district out there, San Francisco United School District, helping them get scholarships. And then that happened. That happened around like February, and I then transferred to Atlanta Metro, which is community college. And I knew like I had to stay in school because my whole business is school and higher education. Oh, wow. So I'm like, I can't take a semester off. I went to Georgia State, asked them if I could come and be a student. They said no. They're like, no way, you can start in the middle of the semester. I'm like, I can catch up, y'all. Yeah. They said no. I went to Georgia Tech. They said no. I went to Emory. They said no. So I went down to the community college and they said yes.
They couldn't help a sister out because she got robbed at gunpoint.
They did not care.
Let me just say, I'm so sorry if I didn't seem, empathetic enough.
Oh no, it's fine.
I have friends who were robbed at gunpoint. So I was like, yeah, girl, I heard that before. And I'm like, that's actually.
But it's
not
one
good.
of those things where like I feel like sometimes we have to have those near-death experiences to really propel our lives, Yeah. And like I'm just grateful that I still had life and I was able to really like it switched everything up for me for the better. Like I promise you. So it's one of those things where it happened, but it was like had it not happened, I would have still been in San Francisco missing out on so many blessings that I got by coming back home.
So you went to San Francisco, came home, went to the community college in Georgia, and then I'm assuming you transferred to another college at some point.
Yeah, so I went there, and that was during COVID. So this whole thing happened during COVID. Everybody was wearing masks. Everybody had all black on. I was scared of everybody. Like, for real, I was scared of everybody during this time.
Oh
because
my
I'm like,
gosh.
dang. So I went to Atlanta Metro, and that was all virtual. So I didn't really have to go on campus. I was living at my grandma's house. And then maybe like 2 semesters later, I went to Georgia State and graduated that next year.
So, you school is still being paid for you, right? Even though you got all these scholarships. When do people start asking you to help them get scholarships for themselves or their kids?
Yeah, so I actually started a month after I graduated high school. And so what that looked like was a lot of students, they realized I got all these scholarships, parents realized. And so a month after I graduated high school, I set up an Eventbrite for Securing Degrees Debt-Free Scholarship Seminar. Charged $5. I charged $5 at a library. I did not know that you could not charge at a local library.
Not to using government resources.
Yeah. The librarian quickly told me, like, man, like, you cannot charge nobody to come to the library. But, you know, I had made my $350, you know, from that seminar. It was so dope.
Wait, how many people showed up?
So we had around 40 people.
Yo, that's dope. How old were you? Like 18?
I was 18, yeah.
Girl. What was I? I was not doing this. I was chasing behind a boy at 18. I was not, I mean, I was working, but I was one of the people who was working the front desk in my college. I was not entrepreneurial enough to figure this out. This is so impressive. Okay. So you have this librarian event at the library for 40 people. Yeah. They pay you $5. And then what happens? Did you upsell them when they were there into something?
I didn't know about upsell then. So I honestly thought that it was just going to be like, you know, I'm helping people $5, X, Y, and Z. But my sister, Frederica, the one who also won all those scholarships, she was like, okay, how about you go to your high school and see if you can do a seminar there? So after that, you know, I did another library seminar, charged $7, and then
it went up. The price is going up.
I went up, and
not
then
$2. Oh my god!
I was giving it so much value. Everybody who came, they left with a list of 100 scholarships that they could apply for, that they're eligible for. I gave everybody booklets.
You were supposed to be adding some zeros to this price.
Yes,
it should have been at least like $500. It's cool though. I understand. You know, I understand. Go ahead.
Yeah. So that was that. And then in August, I partnered with my school, Westlake High School, which is in South Fulton, Georgia. And I had 250 people at that seminar. And at that time, my cost was $15. The students paid $10. The school subsidized $5. So that's how that happened.
Girl, you should have been charging that school multiple zeros after that. But it's cool. It's cool. You know, you live, you learn.
I know. And so I had 250 people there. And then, you know, my sister, she really made me think bigger than what I was thinking. And then literally, I went to San Francisco, and I was on like this. Okay, so they have these weird names, but it was like Black Family Day in San Francisco. So I went to Black Family Day, and I was on the panel, and I was talking about scholarships and how I, you know, amounted $3 million for myself. And in the audience was the superintendent of the San Francisco United School District.
Oh, wow.
And then that same week, he was like, hey, I want you to come over here and see how you can help our students. And before that year ended, I had my first contract with a school district.
Wow. How old were you?
I was 18.
You had a contract with the school district at 18
it was crazy.
Years old.
Yes, I was contracted to help students specifically with disabilities get scholarships and storytell.
Wow. The number one question I get all the time is, Kim, is CurlMix available in stores? We have been saying no to every retailer for the last 7 years that I've been in business, and we are finally going to be on store shelves, you guys. We are going to be available in Ulta September 17th, and I really need you guys to show up and buy us out so that we can blow up in the store and do well. Thank you so much for watching our podcast, and please make sure you go buy CurlMix, now available in Ulta. Okay, what do you say to someone who is like, I didn't have a whole lot of hardship, you know what I mean? I didn't grow up in a low income area. I didn't, you know, my life was pretty smooth. Like, I can't get any scholarships because I'm not a charity case.
Yeah, that's a good question.
And that is not me saying that anyone with disabilities is a charity case. Or I grew up low income. I grew up one of 5, single mother. Didn't know my dad till I was 13. Like, same. So I have enough things to pull on. You know, I didn't pay for college all the way. But there are people, I had one of my best friends, you know, she would say, my life was very comfortable. And, you know, it was really hard for me to get scholarships. What do you say to that?
Yeah, so there's a lot of students who feel like, you know, they don't have that story. And that's kind of where just like being creative kind of comes in, like using metaphors. So for example, like there's a student that I worked with who they didn't have that type of story either. And I tell students, like, don't make up no story, y'all, because we can tell if it's not authentic. But he wrote his story about his braces. You know, in middle school, he had a gap and he wasn't really that confident. He had lower self-esteem. And then he talks about in his story where, you know, he got his braces, his gap started to close, he started to feel better about himself. And then he goes into now his teeth are straight, braces are off, and now he has this new sense of confidence. And so I feel like everybody can, you know, think about a time where they didn't feel the most comfortable with themselves, you know, and they had to go through some type of journey, whether they had to implement something or they had to do something to change something about how they feel. And now, you know, they're at that level where they have that confidence. And so the writing process takes time. Like, you really have to reflect. This entire scholarship process is like the most reflective place to be in, because most of my students, they've never reflected about their challenges. They've never reflected about their obstacles before they talk to me. They've never thought about like, oh, what is my greatest accomplishment? Or, you know, how did this event impact X, Y, and Z people? So it's really like a reflective space that I have to channel with my students, for them to understand that you don't have to be low income. You don't have to be in a single parent household to have a story that's worth receiving some money.
Okay, so I also read that you also help businesses get grants and things like that. What's the difference between applying for scholarships and then, you know, my small business wants to apply for a grant? What's the difference?
Yeah, so in my opinion, it's the same thing, which is why I even became a grant writer, because the skills are just so transferable. It's really all about storytelling. So a scholarship, they might say, tell me about yourself. What's the challenge? You know, where do you see yourself in 5 years? A business grant, they're going to say, tell me about your story of becoming a small business owner. You know, what are your challenges in your business? Where do you see your business going in 5 years? The questions are literally the same. And that's why, like, the biggest thing that I can tell somebody is you first have to know your story. You first have to know your why. Because if you're applying to a grant, it's going to, again, be a very reflective space where a lot of, you know, clients that I work with, I'm helping them discover their story so they can be able to narrate it. If you don't know your story, you can't narrate it.
What's a resource for me? I'm a small business owner. I want to go and find a grant. Where do I go to look for that grant? And then also, how long does it typically take from start to finish of when you see the money? And then also, how much money have you helped clients find getting grants? Okay.
Yes. Okay. So
I got lots of questions.
So some small business resources, definitely Hello Alice. Like, that's a really, really big one. So if you're a small business owner, definitely you want to look at helloalice.com. Also, another great small business resource is Mogul Millennial. Like, that's amazing. You can go to that website right now and you'll probably see like 10 to 20 grants that are due on the 31st.
Really?
Like, it's a lot of opportunities. And they have a free version and then they have a paid version that's still not too expensive, where they'll even like make sure that those grants are really, really in alignment for who you are. So that's the first question. The second question is, how long does it take? So I tell everybody, if you're going to enter this grant space, it shouldn't be like your only source of revenue. You know, you should definitely start investing in a grant writer when that's like, okay, you know, I've already had these things working out. Now I want to see if this is a source of revenue that can help me. But if you're going to do it on your own, you have to understand that this is also a delayed gratification process. Okay.
You ain't getting the money today.
You're not getting the money today. Delayed gratification is going to be really, really, really important. And that's why you have to ongoingly submit these grants. So it's not like you submit one grant today and then next month you're debt free. No, you need to at least be submitting 3 to 4 grants a month ongoingly, whether you get rejected, whether you get accepted. You have to keep up that momentum so you can be successful in this process.
Oh, this is good. Okay. How much money have you seen a business that you've worked with who's done this? Like, how much money are they getting in grants?
Yeah, so I actually just started the grant side of it last August with one of my charter schools. And so far they've, you know, accumulated 6 figures in grant opportunities from us working with them.
And what is it, just reporting that they have to do after they get the money? Like, that's pretty much it, to say that they send it on
some grants do, some grants don't. So there's some, like, for example, I was working with a lawyer and she got a Hello Alice grant. I wrote her up a grant for $15,000 for her to hire a marketing assistant.
Wow.
And in the grant, we wrote up, you know, this marketing assistant, we're going to pay them $15 an hour for 6. You have to be very specific. That's another thing. You have to be very specific in what you're asking for. Because, you know, if you're writing this grant and you're just saying, oh, yeah, I need $15,000 to help me grow my business. But then I'm a grant writer. I'm writing, we need $15,000 and $5,000 is going to go towards this marketing assistant. We're going to pay them this amount, you know, with this rate. You know, I'm being very, very specific. So
can I hire you?
How that works. Of course. Of course.
I need some grant money. I need some government funding.
Have you started that stream of income?
No, a stream of income. What? No. I did secure like $3 million in foundation money though.
Okay, yeah.
Which is kind of similar, but I got to pay it back unless I add jobs to the West Side, and then if I add those jobs, half of it will be a grant. Okay. So it's something similar, but like not as strategic. Like, this is brilliant. Like, you hire somebody to be writing these grants. You tell them where to go. This is where they're filling this out, and then they'll probably get commission or whatever they get. Right? Can you do that?
No. So some people do. It really depends on the type of grant. Like there's some grants where you can write yourself in the grant and that's how it's supposed to be. But like according to the American Grant Association, you're not supposed to take a commission.
Hit us with the legalities. Hit us with the legal. Okay, so then that means I gotta compensate them well.
Yeah, so you'll pay your grant writer based on their fee for doing the work.
What's the range of cost for a grant writer?
Yeah, so it can range from like $50 to $150 an hour.
Okay. See, now I'm distracted. I'm supposed to be asking you questions, and I'm like, okay, what I gotta do to? Is there like a profile of someone who is like best to get grants? Like this person, if she does this or they do this, like as a business owner, what does that person look like? You know what I mean?
I think like someone like yourself, like someone who started an organization, they're big in the community, they're big on impact, they have a story, they like to storytell, like that is really what makes a good grant application. Because yes, I'm asking for thousands of dollars, but at the end of the day, the grant wants to know that you're worth the investment. And they can decide whether you're worth the investment based on how you're pouring back into your community. So that's like the biggest thing when it comes to grant money. Also, just being very strategic and knowing what you need the money for. A lot of times, like I'm having to help my clients figure out what they need the money for.
I can't say like this is for my debt.
No.
She's like, girl, stop.
But there are some grants. There are some grants that will help you, cover your debt. So there's grants for everything. There's grants to help you get certified to become a minority business owner. Like there's grants for everything. Yeah.
Okay, so tell me a myth about either applying for scholarships or grant writing that people really hardcore believe this, but it's just not true.
Yeah, I think when it comes to scholarships, yeah, definitely scholarships. I think a lot of people think that like if you're making a lot of money that you can't get a scholarship. And that's not true. I can work with low income students, middle income students, and wealthy students, and help them get scholarships. Also a big myth is if I have a low test score, if I have a low GPA, I can't get a scholarship. And I tell my students all the time, like with securing degrees, we don't care about GPA. We don't care about test score. The reason is because my test scores compared to the schools I applied for, they don't even make sense. And not only did I get into these schools, but I got rides.
What was your test scores?
So my highest ACT was a 24.
Girl, mine was a 23.
Which isn't bad, but again, compared to like the schools I was applying for, their averages are like 33s, 34s, 35s, And so that's why I tell people it's all about the story. If you know how to write, you can get whatever you want.
All my friends, they were like buku smart. So they had like 28s, 30s, 36, like perfect scores. I was like, how do you do it?
I don't know,
girl. But this is great. Like, that's really good. You were getting $20 million. You got over $3 million in scholarship funding with an ACT score that's 24.
Yeah.
That's dope.
And a lot of my students, like, they don't have the highest test scores, the GPAs. And that's why they come work with me, because it's like, step one is it's all mental. This process is all mental. If you know you're going to get rejected, okay, we're going to get rejected. You got to keep going.
This is dope. Okay. So if people want to work with you, where do they go? How do they find you?
Yeah, so they can go to my website, www.securingdegrees.org, or they can go to our grants website, www.securinggrants.org, all secured.
Is there something else that we should know that I didn't ask? Something that you want to tell the people about scholarship funding, grant writing? Because I was asking questions for me. Okay, I'm self-interested, obviously. But, maybe there's more that, you want to share or that you want people to know.
Yeah, I think I really just want people to know that like it's never too late to get started. So I work with a lot of college students. I work with high school juniors. I work with businesses who, are 10 years in business and plus. So once you get that inkling to start getting free money, that's where you need to start. Don't be waiting. Don't think that, I already graduated high school, it's too late. Now I just got to take up all these loans. No, you can get started. In addition to that, if you want to go to school debt-free, you need to erase the word loans out of your vocabulary. You shouldn't, parents, y'all should not be telling your students that, I've saved $50,000 for their college expenses. So, because that gives students an exit plan and they don't take this process seriously. So students have to be very, very, very motivated if you're going to be successful with the scholarship process. That's how it works.
Okay, I have one more question. I would think that my business is too big to get grant funding. Is that true?
That is not true.
Actually, like, you're not making that much money, okay?
No, not even that. No, like you can still get grant funding. Now it's just, okay, what organizations will fund you? And that comes with the grant research. So grant writing and grant research are two different skills. Grant research is now my job to find those opportunities that do align with your business, how much you're making, what you're trying to do. So yeah, in addition to that, there's opportunities at every level. It's there. They want to give you money because it helps them. Like at the end of the day, all of this is business. No organization is giving me money just because they want to.
Yeah.
Now that I'm an alumni, all the organizations are knocking at my door. Hey, do you want to donate?
Of course.
So they're only going to invest in people that they know who are going to invest back into them.
No, I've never put that together. They're only accepting students they think are going to make money in the future that can then fund the school. That makes so much sense.
Yes. Because it's business.
That's why they got a cap on low income folks. They be like, look, you're not going to finish and you're not going to be able to put money back into the school as an alumni.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It gets deep. But it's business.
Yeah, it's business. School is a business. Awesome. Well, Vicky, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. This has been a phenomenal experience, and I think I might hire you from some grant writing, girl. Look, if you'll have me. Wow, that was really, really, really impactful. All right, you guys. I hope you enjoyed Vicky giving us all that knowledge about getting free money, and I learned some stuff, so I know y'all have to learn some stuff. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next episode of More Rounds.